Hey, hey. Hang on, I gotta make sure. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you can hear me, right? Am I clear? Thank you, Nadia. Am I clear? Am I clear? Alright, sounds clear. What's up, everyone? So, welcome to my channel. My name is Perplexed. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to leave it perplexed or I am perplexed because the website is I am perplexed. So, I haven't decided yet. So, what's up, everyone? What's up, members? Welcome, Bonnie. What's up, subs, Patreons, everybody? How you guys doing tonight? So, welcome to day two. Welcome to day two of 50 and 50. Looking fresh and cute. I'm all worn out. Phoenix doesn't even know there's sushi in the fridge for him. What's up, beautiful disaster? So, I hope you guys enjoyed last night. For if there's any, I know there's a few in here making a murderer people. Zellner dropped something, and I haven't read it yet. I've read some of it. I heard there's some good stuff in it, but other times everybody says there's good stuff in it and it's fucking horrible. There's nothing to it. So I have to read it for myself. I can't take anyone else's opinion. So I may even go live about it later. There's a lot of hub about it, a lot of talk about it. So everyone knows that making a murder is my, heart. It's what started YouTube. It's what's made this channel. So I'm pretty excited to read it. Hopefully it's something good. Hopefully it's something I can get excited about because I would love to be able to get excited about someone making a murder. So what's up, Vintage Gal? Do you make your own sushi? No, this one I bought. I went to the sushi place, I bought it, but I think Phoenix has passed out. So, this channel, I can't do music on because if I lose monetization on it, I will cry. This is my main channel. If I lost monetization on my other channel, I could live with it. This channel, I got to be way more careful about. So, not that I'd want to lose. I have over 200 members on there, so I don't want to lose monetization over there. But this channel's my baby. This one is where it all started, where it began, and where I want to continue to grow. So, that's why. What's up, JM? Mr. Lives. What's up, Brady? Brady, is there anything in it? Like, am I going to like it? Am I going to get excited over it? Or is it just same old, same old? If they say no, then it's over. Yeah, this is home. I haven't seen it, just heard about it. Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Well, Brady, that's what happens when you're not a Patreon. No, I dropped it in member. I think I dropped it in member Discord. I know I passed it out through Patreon. How many women can I make love to in this chat? None. All right, so today's case is Alaska. Home sweet home, MAM is where it all started. Absolutely. So I give everyone a couple minutes. I'm always late, so I know other people will be late. How you doing, JM? I'm tired. What's up, Nana? What's up, Monkey Mar? Hey, Foxybot. There's not a lot of people, and I can say hi to everyone. What's up, Vintage Gal? Hey, Janelle. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Talking Dove. Hey, Brady. Hey, Letha. What's up, Kim? Tori, Foxybot, Carol, Talking Dove, Red Dragon, Nadia G123. Sweet Melissa, who just became a member. Welcome, Nadia G123. Hey, Libby Lee. Hey, Monkey Mar. Hey, Tori. Hey, beautiful disaster. Bonnie. What's up, Mommy Mars? Hey, Luna. Hey, Denise. What's up, Irish Rose? New Patreon. Did you find your way into Discord? What's up, Hummingbird? Hey, Robin. Hey, Carol. Carol, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, Johnny? What's up, Mommy Mars? Caslin in the house. Caslin was reminding me. I wanted to... Alright. Let's see what else. What's up, Kara? So you guys have a good day? Oh, I'm sorry, Carol. Sick is not good. Nobody likes to be sick. Long day, I hear you. Too much drama. I'm in need of a distraction. Believe me, I got plenty of distractions. If you like murder, we got it. I'm fascinated by your title. Robert Hansen, the Butcher Baker. Dude, this guy was insane. Absolutely insane. So I put together, let me tell you a little bit about it. I put together some short videos for you guys that I think you guys are going to like. Leave it to Buka. Leave it to Buka. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Oh, shit. Hold on. Fuck. Hang on a second. I made a slideshow and I forgot to put it on this background. Hold on. Bear with me a second. Bear with me. I was like, I'm missing something. Ah. All right. All right. So you guys probably wondering who this guy is. His name was Robert Hansen. He was a serial killer. The reason why they call him the Butcher Baker, because he baked cakes. He was like very, very famous in Alaska. And even the cops would watch him like through the window and stuff. But I'll talk to you about that after. He was this horrific serial killer. The long and the short is, what he did was, he didn't just like kidnap women. He was the typical, let me kidnap strippers and hookers and people that wouldn't go noticed. Okay, I was a stripper. Believe me, you would have noticed if I went missing. So he had not only kidnapped women, but he beat them, he tortured them, he raped them. He hung one of them from his ceiling with handcuffs by a chain. Horrible, like horrific. And not only that, but he would do all this and then he would set them free. So they thought that they were leaving. They thought, hey, we're gone. You know, we're going to get out of this. No. Then he would hunt them down like they were prey. So they weren't escaping, but he loved the thrill of the chase. So they're blindfolded, handcuffed, they're trying to run away. No, it didn't happen. They never got away. So it all started back in, well, not that it all started for him, but in general, in 1924, there was this book that was published called The Most Dangerous Game. It was written by Richard Connell. And it was about a wealthy Russian aristocrat who was bored with trapping animals. Now, one thing about Robert Hansen, he was a huge animal hunter. He had stuff all over his house. Huge animal hunter. And what's up, Mama Beth? And he lured big game just for a sport, like a lot of hunters do. I personally don't get into hunting. I think it's wrong. I don't care how many fucking deers are out there. I think it's wrong. So ever since the story was published, this perverse idea of hunting humans has captivated people. It even appeared again in TV shows, movies, plots of novels, but for the most part, it's relegated to the pages of fiction. In the 1970s, Robert Hansen, known as the Butcher Baker, took this premise of hunting humans and turned it into a crazy reality. He was very well liked in town. He was like the family butcher, not family butcher, family baker. Everyone would go to him for cakes. You would never, he was married too. You would never ever know this guy lived a double life. But if you think about it, think about all serial killers in history. They all live double lives. They're all married with kids. Ted Bundy, not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them were perfectly like normal people on the outside. So he had also a reputation though for hunting. So he would live this 9-to-5 job as a baker. Then he had this whole dark side of the woods, the hunting, everything. So throughout the this went on throughout the 70s and 80s. He targeted sex workers, exotic dancers. He, like I said, he abducted these women, took them. Thank you, Kim. Took them and hunted them. Like, try to let them free, and they never went. So, unlike the Russian aristocrat, he was no aristocrat. He was born on February 15th, 1939 in Iowa, as a matter of fact. Esterville, Iowa. Phoenix, there's sushi in the fridge for you. Oh, yeah. His father was a Danish immigrant who owned a bakery. He also was strict I'm not even going to try to say it. Let me put a disclaimer on this. I may say a word wrong. I may get a fact wrong, or it's something that I can't remember. It doesn't mean it needs to make a video of it. That's my disclaimer. Sometimes when I'm going to facts or I write stuff down, I misspell something, I missay something. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. So I just want to put that disclaimer on. Disciplinarian, whatever. I'm over it. He had worked long hours. His childhood was not a normal childhood. He was very abused by his dad. His dad was very, very strict, very abused. He was left-handed, but he was always forced to use his right hand. Now, I know for me, growing up as a lefty, I don't know, how many are lefties in here? It's not too late to make a shake. Wow. One of the rice and shrimp and one of the whole things of sushi.
Is there any sauce though?
What?
I said, is there any sauce?
It's on the counter.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You're lefty. How old are you, CK? Because anybody who was born in the 80s, I know that I had a really tough time being a lefty. My brother was a righty. And I was pointing like my brother's in the room and not Phoenix. That's how much he reminds me of Phoenix. But my brother was a righty, and everything back in the 80s and 70s, you had to be a righty. Nothing came as a lefty. Like, I would always switch things around. It was horrible. Like, that's not the time you wanted to be a lefty. So he was forced to use his right hand. And for some reason, it resulted in a lifelong stutter for him. I'm not really sure why the two were correlated. As a teenager, he was very shy. He had bad acne. He was mocked all the time for a stutter. Boys at school made fun of him. Girls didn't want to date him. They rejected him. They thought he was like a total loser. You can write with either. He was a social outcast, which, if you really think about it, this is stereotypical serial killer. It's either that or serial murderer. You know, the like school shootings and stuff. Outcast, always got picked on, always hated. It's so stereotypical. It really is. So he took time and he spent time alone. Over time, he became an avid game hunter, channeling his rage and fantasies of vengeance into the sport of stalking animals. Now, if you think about it, this is exactly where serial killers are made. If you spend that much time alone, eventually you're going to get bored. Eventually you're going to want to find something different. You're going to sit there like, I got to find something better. Got to find something different. It's just the way it is. In 1957, he was 18 years old. He joined the army, hoping to leave his crazy thoughts, everything behind him. I have a callus on my right hand, middle fingers for gripping my pencil so tight when they change. See? Lefties do think differently. Lefties are more creative. No offense, righties. But they are. Lefties are more creative. And he was hoping to leave his troubled youth behind him, just like a lot of kids that join the army. For a while he did. After serving a year in the reserves, he became an assistant drill instructor in Pocahontas, Iowa. He even married a woman there. But he then felt mistreated by the community and sought retaliation. And this is where it all starts. In 1960, at age 21, he convinced a young bakery employee to help him down a school bus garage. Until the boy later confessed, Hansen was arrested. His wife divorced him, leaving him alone and incarcerated. Though he was released just 20 months into it, his 3-year sentence for the arson, he was jailed a few more times afterward for petty theft. Still, he managed to remarry another local woman. Finally, he decided that he'd had enough of the contagious United States. In 1967, he moved to Anchorage, Alaska, which was about as far from his life in Iowa as he can get. He moved into the small community, had 2 kids, his wife, and he settled in for a quiet life. He was well liked and opened up a small bakery. Wish I could do mine. I need them so bad. Oh, hair. While the townspeople mostly bought into the facade that he was this happy butcher baker, I keep saying happy butcher baker, happy baker with a quiet family, a knack for hunting, typical Alaskanian. Some cracks showed through Hansen's squeaky clean exterior. In 1972, he was arrested twice. Once for the abduction and attempted rape of a housewife, and again for raping a prostitute. Unknown to authorities, his killing spree began in 1973, likely emboldened by his ability to walk free after those early rapes. 1976, he was arrested again and sentenced to 5 years for shoplifting a chainsaw. Think about that. Why would he want to shoplift a chainsaw? Who wants to shoplift a chainsaw? That's not exactly on the top of my list of trying to walk out of a store with. However, he appealed that sentence and was released. While he continued to prey on strippers and sex workers, who he forced to act out his twisted fantasies. So now we're jumping. Legal system could not hold him. We left off in 1976. 1983, more than a decade after he moved to Anchorage, a 17-year-old girl named Cindy Paulson was found running frantically down 6th Avenue barefoot and handcuffed. She was picked up, but let me tell you what happened with this. She was picked up. She's the one that escaped. She was picked up. She was taken to a hotel room. She went to the hotel room and the cops came. The clerk had called the hotel. The cops came there. Cops thought the story was a bit elaborate, but one of the cops believed her. Honestly and truly believed her. And the other cop was like, it's a little far-fetched. Because she was a stripper in the early 80s, nobody really cared about her. So she would left, she was terrified. She would leave, she would come back, she would leave, she would come back. And before you know it, the cops dropped the case. The cops found him. Even though everything matched exactly the way she said, they still dropped it. I don't know why. She had told the cops that she had been tortured repeatedly before attempting to load her onto a plane, take her to the cabin, which is 35 miles north of Anchorage. As the man prepared for the plane for takeoff, Paulson managed to escape, leaving her shoes behind as evidence. Hansen fit the description of the kidnapper perfectly. She even described his stutter and identified his plane. Police were still reluctant to bring him in. After all, he was no stranger to trouble with the law. The local baker was well liked in the community. Now, when they finally caught up with him, he said, yeah, I know who she is, but she's just going after him because, he refused to pay her. When he told police about a strong alibi provided by a friend, he was released. Now I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys the video. See, I got visuals here.
To be a photographer.
Hang on. Odd. It was smart, but it was odd that she had wanted to stop by there with the cops to make sure he got arrested or show him where it was. Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
The entire community.
Robert Hansen remains behind bars. His lengthy sentence makes it impossible for him to ever hunt again.
If there had been a death penalty in Alaska, you've been the right person for the death penalty.
They got him where he's supposed to be now, I guess. I don't think he'll ever walk free again. Hope not. If he does, he won't walk free long, I'll guarantee you that.
How monsters like that are made are beyond me.
All right. Let me see if I can get... Hold on.
News of the confession hit Anchorage like a bombshell. a seemingly innocent member of the local community was in fact one of North America's worst serial killers.
And everybody read it and everybody watched the news. Most serial killers, they're fascinating, and I think the community probably felt that way too. A combination of that and horror, you know. How could anybody do a thing like that? He was living two separate lives, a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde existence.
It's one of those things of, you know, who is it? Is it your next door neighbor? Turned out it was.
He wasn't a big bad wolf type. He wasn't scary because he wouldn't have been successful if he was scary. If he was scary, these savvy street women would never have gone anywhere with him. He looked like somebody they could handle themselves with. They were wrong.
Robert Hansen was sentenced to 461 years. The mild-mannered baker, soon nicknamed the Butcher, had finally been brought to justice.
It was a real relief to see him go away.
The day after his confession, police used Hansen to help them pinpoint the locations of each body marked on the map.
This was February, midwinter in Alaska, where it's very cold and very dark and there's lots of snow. Middle of nowhere. I mean, here you had to fly 35 minutes by helicopter just to get there. And then he says, this is the place. So we land. We get out, put the snowshoes on. We walk 200 yards back in the woods. He falls to his knees and he's clawing through the snow with his hand, saying, I know she's here. I know she's here. And of course, you can't claw through 4 feet of snow. So we grab him and pull him up and tell him, no, that's okay. That's okay. We're just going to mark it. He seemed to be proud of the fact that he knew exactly where to go and how to get there. And so this went on. We marked all the grave sites. And then came the long, torturous wait for us till spring when the snow melted to see whether or not he was telling us the truth.
In the spring of 1984, police exhumed many of the victims at the marked locations and returned their...
I actually cut it because I was doing pieces of videos just so what happened before it didn't happen again, but it did.
In November 1983, Robert Hansen, a bakery owner from Anchorage, Alaska, was charged with the rape and kidnapping of a 17-year-old woman. A rifle found in his home connected him to the murders of at least 2 nightclub dancers. Police held off laying the additional charges until they knew the full scope of Hansen's crimes. While Hansen sat behind bars, detectives tried to work out not if, but rather how many women he had kidnapped and murdered. Their attention...
All right, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but that gives you a little feel of who this guy was, what he did from a legal perspective. So we can finish watching that video after, but I want to get back to who he actually was and how the FBI tracked him down. And just talk about it. Don't get... No, I know. But there were some visuals that I wanted to show. Like, me saying it without visuals is harder. It's much easier to do it by talking and having some visuals. So, but, certain videos I'm going to have to do privately and not publicly because of copyright strikes. So I do have to be careful. But every other person can get away with it. Like, every single person out there gets away with shit I can't get away with. I don't get it. So, when the Alaska State Troopers, by the way, somebody had a really good point. Suzanne did. That Suzanne had a really good point by saying a lot of people go missing in Alaska and they're never found. They're never found because of how broad Alaska is. They're never found due to multiple reasons. But there's so many places to kill, to hide a body. The forest, the lakes, the snow, the weather, the ice, everything. It's much easier to... They say that it's much easier to kill in Alaska than it is anywhere else. It's almost like the desert. Killing somebody in the desert, you're most likely going to get away with it faster as long as nobody knows you're in the desert as you would in Alaska. That is fact. So they knew, the cops and the FBI knew that there was a serial killer that they were convinced, dealt with sex workers and dancers because they all gone missing. 2 bodies were discovered in the valley along with 2.223 shell casings. Hansen was a prime suspect, but the cops still didn't have enough proof. They needed proof. It's easy to hide bodies in Alaska. They have mountains you never know to think certain places, kind of like the desert. Now, because they had the proof of the shell casings, it led the involvement of the FBI, including now retired FBI agent John Douglas, who helped pioneer the field of criminal profiling. And it was his story. This is how this all ties into today. John Douglas is the one that came up with criminal profiling. His whole life was surrounded by it. The show on Netflix, Mindhunter, is profiled around his entire life, his stories, his everything. A lot of people don't know that. So if you'd ever watch Mindhunter, I personally never got into Mindhunter. It bored me. A lot of people think I'm crazy for that. It seriously bored me. I was like, I can't seem to get into this. But I also don't like one show that everyone else likes that, what's the name? Joe something on, come on guys, help me out here. Joe on ID show. Joe the Bounty Hunter? No. Joe, help me out, people. ID people. Investigation Discovery people. Kendra, thank you. Thank you, Irish Rose. Joe Kendra. I don't like his show. It bores me to death. Like it's like the worst show. Every time I would see it come on, not Dog the Bounty Hunter, it was Joe Kendra. Every time I would see a show come on ID, I'm like, time to change the channel. I never got into it. Kind of like Mindhunter. People I know that aren't even into true crime loved Mindhunter, and I just got bored by it. See, that's what I'm saying. Some people love Kendra. Some people think Kendra's the great. I know Tara was talking about it. Some people think it's the greatest show in the world. It's the worst show on ID, in my opinion. It really is. I never got into it. Hang on. All right. Whoops. Wrong button. A webcam. There we go. That's what I wanted. I almost said, Joe Blow. It's so good. It's the Pawnee Flip. Oh, those are good, Kim. I love Mindhunter. See, there you go, Talking Dove. A lot of people did. It was just not my thing. I never really got into it. So, but yeah, was his involvement. Now, he had put together this psychological profile of a killer based on details of the case and the injuries inflicted of the recovered bodies. He theorized that the killer was an experienced hunter with low self-esteem and a history of being rejected by women, and that he likely had a stutter. How he put together that this guy had a stutter, I don't know. I find myself pretty good at criminal profiling. It's something I've always wanted to do. By the time I did, and let's clear this out for the haters. By the time I got to my master's degree, I was halfway through my master's degree and learned that I was too old to join the FBI. I quit. I was so mad. I was so frustrated. I know I've told this story before, but this seems to get misconstrued with haters. So yes, I have my bachelor's degree, but when I really wanted to be a criminal profile. What I found out years later, not only was I too old to be in the FBI, but they don't even have criminal profiles anymore. Everything is now totally different. I heard from an FBI agent that they haven't hired a criminal profiler in probably 25 years. So it kind of put me that was like really frustrating. But that's why I never finished my master's degree, because I wanted to join the FBI. I had no idea they had an age limit. I probably should have checked first. And then I just dropped out. I was too frustrated. Who needs some rest? Oh, because I can't remember the name. Go back to the beginning. I put a disclaimer on it. So he'd been cleared several times before. There was no doubt about it. Hansen fit the profile almost exactly. Plus, he owned a bush plane in a cabin in the Matunska Cetina Valley. So the police soon obtained a warrant to search Hansen's plane, car, and homes. What they found shocked them, though. They walked in to a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Police soon obtained a warrant to search his plane, car, homes, and the horror that his victims had endured was so unbelievable. Like, they really had a hard time even understanding what happened. So back in Anchorage, he was a respected business owner known for his skill as a bow hunter. The den in his home was decorated, as we know, with all these different trophies and, heads of animals, everything. But what no one knew is that, he would display his stuff on the walls. He would display all the animal kills, but they didn't know that he was keeping trophies of a other kind of kill. When does the smoking not on YouTube take effect? Does anyone know? Does anyone know when the smoking on YouTube takes effect? If it took effect already? Or should I just bend down? Because I hate talking and, you're looking at nothing. Especially doing true crime. I do not believe in true crime if you can't see the person talking about it. Alright, then I'm not worried about it yet. I bend down, you can't see it. Because I have this thing, with drama, it's a little different, but with true crime, you want to be looking at the person talking. You don't want to hit. You want to feel my intensity. So I have a hard time with people. Most true crime, I honestly, I haven't seen a true crime that isn't live. So that's why. No, there's this new thing, they don't want you smoking on camera. So I don't know. It's what they say. Hey, Ad Griffin, YouTube Nazis. Funny at Laura. No, it's true though. You can't do true crime unless you're actually on camera. That's my thing. No vapes either. Damn. I know. It's the first person I thought of, Stacy. Poor MFW. All right. So we'll just take a break. I'll read some comments. You agree with Natalie, right? It's just not the same. No smoking, vaping, weed, or drinking. Well, honestly, I don't think people should be drinking on camera anyway. Then it won't happen for me. I vape, quit cigarettes. Too late, you got caught. I know, right, Huck? Busted. I'm almost done. I can't believe it's 10 o'clock already. That's crazy. The YouTube will be gone. People can't go into live subs drinking either. Unless someone make it. Yeah, Google's really knocking down the laws. Can go on cam between cigs. Yeah, I know. I don't smoke that much. I mean, I can if you can, but if I can, it's okay. Good job, Talking Dove. No, we're not done. Yeah, we're done with the cigarette. We're not done with the case. So he targeted mainly sex workers, exotic dancers, all from around Anchorage. He would kidnap them, either drive them or fly them in his plane to his cabin in the remote Alaskan bush. Drinking would be easy. I know, exactly, Irish. Now, if the woman didn't put up a fight, here's the catch they did. If the women didn't put up a fight, he would rape them and bring them back to town, threatening them into secrecy. But those who did not cooperate suffered the nightmare. So he did let you leave if you just let him rape you and do whatever you want. Then he would let you go. But, here's the thing. And for anyone that's ever been raped, you know how this feels. But for anyone that's never been violently raped, I thank God I was never kidnapped. But you're scared. You look out your window. Do they know where I live? If you were ever violently raped by someone you don't know, or you were taken from your house and you're still alive, the difference is when it comes to something like that, they could come back and take you at any time. They know where you live. They know, I don't know how people deal with that. I would never be able to stay in my house ever, ever. So he would just scare them to make sure that they survived, that they didn't die. But if they put up a fight, they screamed, they made noise, they did everything, they were not compliant at all, that's when he hunted them. So his favorite location was this place called the Nick River. And that's where he would set the women free. For a moment, they'd have hope that they could escape. Blindfolded, handcuffed, they ran for their lives. He would track them down, taking his time, and hunted them like they were animals. He was armed with a hunting knife and a .223 caliber, a Ruger Mini 14 rifle. He tortured the women with this chase for hours, sometimes days, until he located his prey and shot them like game. So for him, like when you have a serial killer, a lot of times, let me rephrase that. The mentality of a man is to chase something, chase women. It's what they do. No man is like, okay, let's get married. They like the thrill of the chase. And women who are smart know how to play that game. So Robert, in my opinion, just took it to a whole new level. Like a completely whole new level. He went from A to Z done. Because not only did he like the chase, but he would torture them for days. Imagine running around blindfolded, handcuffed in the middle of the woods. You're dropped off. You get a 2-day head start. Or even a 1-day head start. You really think you're going to survive. But you realize there's nowhere to go and you're fucking blindfolded. There's nothing you can do. You're screwed. Totally screwed. So, you never shoot anyone in the back. That's actually changed now. Yeah, he enjoyed the hunting. So, the sickest part is, this wasn't like a 1-year thing. This dude got away with it for 12 years. 12 years he hunted like this and he killed like this. There is a movie with John Cusack called Frozen Ground, where John Cusack stars as Robert Hansen, Nicolas Cage as the Alaskan state trooper investigating the murderers. I have not seen this movie yet, and if I have, I don't remember it. But yeah, it's called Frozen Ground. Hey, Jackie. This sickening reminds me of what happened on the pig. Yeah, that's a sick story, Jackie. There's a movie. Yeah. Hey, Marianne. Yeah, it's called Frozen Ground with John Cusack. Guy is an animal. Correct. Now, in the brief thing that I showed you guys before it got cut, the cops, when they were searching his house, they found a map that had X's on it. And they thought that this is where he went hunting. Like, this is where he would chase down the girls, or this is where he would leave the girls, and then he would chase them. But what they found out was that X was where he buried the girls. That was where he actually spotted them. So they had all these X's. There were 24 exes in total. He claims to only have killed 17. So what's more, in his psychological profile is that Douglas predicted that the murder would keep souvenirs of his prey. Sure enough, in the basement of Hansen's home, police found stashes of jewelry, a necklace that belonged to one of the victims, and that necklace played a big part of the whole capturing of him. So in 1984, and mind you, it started in 1972. 1984, he confessed to murdering 17 women, raping another 30 over a 12-year period. So based on his theory, based on his own words, he killed half of his victims. And he was sentenced to 461 years plus life in prison without parole in 1984. He was in prison at Spring Creek Correctional Facility in Seward, Alaska, where he died in 2014. As part of the plea bargain, the Butcher Baker was only ever charged with 4 of the 17 murders he confessed to, and some believe he actually killed more than 20. So, yeah. Now, in exchange, it's not over yet, in exchange for the reduced conviction, Hansen agreed to assist police in locating the remaining bodies killed on his kill map, the ones that are plotted on the X's. Unfortunately, 5 of the bodies have still not been found to this day, and Hansen took the secret to his grave. And that's the main story. But I want to finish that video that I showed you guys, not the one that got cut, the other one.
Attention was soon drawn to flight maps found on Hansen's property.
On those flight maps, interestingly, were little X's scattered around, let's say, within a 100-mile air radius of Anchorage.
The 21 small crosses seemed to suggest places Hansen had flown to before.
We knew as an avid hunter, we suspected at that time that those marks were places where he had bagged wild game.
But detectives noticed that 2 of the marks were in places
Frozen
that
ground.
they had also been to. The graves of Sherry Morrow and Paula Goulding.
Those weren't marks of locations where he had hunted previously. These were marks of locations where he had killed and left his victims. And these maps had 21 marks on them. We were absolutely shocked. We didn't expect that. We were thinking maybe a half a dozen victims. We were not thinking 21 victims.
As he awaited trial on kidnapping and rape charges, investigators finally revealed to Hansen and his lawyer the evidence they had connecting him to the murders of Sherry Morrow, Paula Goulding, and at least 2 other women.
Hansen didn't know at that time that we had the maps and that we knew what the maps meant.
Knowing that a jury would find him guilty, and wanting to avoid the publicity of a lengthy trial, Hansen finally agreed to give police what they wanted: a full confession.
Initially, Hansen admitted to 3 or 4 of the murders, the ones that we knew about. And at that point, the DA said, we have these maps. Showed him a copy of the maps and said, for every location on this map, we're going to fly out there. We're going to find the victim. We're going to come back, and we're going to charge you with that. We're going to go out and we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again. So you make up your mind now. You're either going to tell us or we'll be back. We owed it to the families and the victims.
Finally, face to face with all of his crimes, Robert Hansen's defenses fell apart. Over the course of the next few days, he confessed to a total of
Hey, Callie.
17 murders and 30 rapes, most involving dancers and prostitutes from downtown Anchorage. In many of the cases, he approached women in his mild-mannered way with an offer to make some easy money. Once away from the public eye, he violently took control, raping them repeatedly and keeping them captive, sometimes at remote hunting cabins for several days at a time. Although Hansen didn't admit it, police felt sure he released and hunted many of his victims to their deaths.
Thank you, Jackie.
He'd take the victims like live out to the flats, release them, and hunt them. You know, he went from hunting animals to people.
Pretty crazy, right? Ow. The dude is a serious monster. Serious monster. And no relation of mine. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Almost fast. Still got a while to go. And that is what I had as far as my stuff. So that is Robert Hansen, the Butcher Baker. And it was pretty intense. I had heard of him, but I didn't know much about him. But I agree with whoever said it. He reminded me of that pig feeding guy. I mean, but also remember, back in the 80s, hold on, let me move this. Back in the 80s, dancing was different. It wasn't like it is now. Things were totally different then. Dancers were more looked of as hookers and throwaways. And that, even in New York, I was a bartender when did I start? 1992? I was a bartender in a strip club. And that's when I started getting into the whole scene. And it was just totally different than the mid-90s when dancing. Everything about it was different. Then you got into 2000s, and it was just totally different. Now, I would never be a dancer now, ever. Not with cameras. Hell no. Send me vid on the pig guy. Oh, yeah, that's bad. The pig guy is sick. Like, sick. Yeah, someone asked about Super Chat before. Whoever sent a Super Chat, I didn't get anything. I know Jackie. I got Jackie's. But I know somebody said it before. I didn't get anything. So, that was what I had tonight. Tomorrow night is Jodi Arias. Tomorrow night will probably go 2 hours. Because it is Jodi Arias. And there's so much to talk about. Even though everyone knows the case, it's still one of the most fascinating. It's as fascinating as Chris Watts. Because this chick was fucking whacked. It was Foxy Bot, okay. Because whacked. You bring sound, yeah. So tomorrow's going to be a lot longer. And tomorrow night, I will have a video for Jodi Arias. Like I said, I'm not going to do videos for all of them. But members and Patreons will get a video for Jodi Arias. CK, before I even do that, thank you, Foxy Bot. Before I even do that, I got to do all 50 states. So, and like I said, if you guys notice too, you may not notice now, but the cover of it, I'm placing heads in all the states. So it's going to fill up the whole map. So it may look like it's the same cover that I'm putting on for each thumbnail, but it's not. I'm adding a head to it. So, all right. So I'm going to shut down for a couple of reasons. One, I want to take a look at the Making a Murderer file. I may go live about it tonight, depending on what I think of it, what I feel of it. But that won't be for like another hour or two because obviously I still got to read it. And so that's going to be my focus later today. I don't have work tomorrow, so I have all night. I had to go place my last video. You did not get notifications, so I hit the bell for, yeah, that's what I have to do. Hit bell for all notifications. This way it comes up on the side. So welcome new members, welcome new subs, and I will see you guys tonight. Hopefully they will not kill this video. If it does, I will re-record it. I know my video last night on my other channel got shut down, so I have to re-record it thanks to flagging. So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up on the way out, and if you're into making a murderer, then listen for this channel. Look for a notification in about 2 hours, hour or 2 hours. Now, I will say this much too, that with making a murderer, I have not been impressed to date. So if I think that there's something good in it and I think that there's something for it, I'll be back. If it's going to be the same old BS, I'm not going to talk about it. So on that note, if I don't see you guys back from making a murderer, I will see you guys tomorrow for Jodi Arias. And again, that'll be like a 2-hour case, if not longer. I may even panel people up. I may even do a panel for it because I know a lot of people are into Jodi Arias and a lot of people know that case. I know Makeup Mobster was extremely into Jodi Arias. Nadia was very into Jodi Arias. And so I may have a panel too to discuss it. All right? So I will see you guys either later or tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace. This is your wheelhouse. That's it. My wheelhouse.